So we heard from 4 different perspectives the challenges that arise for achieving the Sustainable Development Goals due to the coronavirus crisis. So now I would like to invite everyone to participate actively in the discussion. So please feel free to ask questions or give some comments to the presentations that you just listened to. Who would like to start? Okay, maybe Kaige.
Hello, everyone.
Hi. It's nice to hear from you.
Nice to hear from everyone again, and thank you for the great presentations.
So you're in Nairobi now?
Yes, I'm joining you from Nairobi.
Oh, wow.
And it has been a great learning experience. Thank you for the opportunity.
How is the COVID-19 over there?
From a general perspective, the metropolitan area is still under some partial lockdown. So there's been massive impact on incomes, on people's incomes, especially because of the large informal sector that exists here.
Okay. Do you have a question?
I'm still formulating it. I shall ask it later.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
I can see one question from the chat. So the question is to Mr. Miasoedov. Do you see a variety of impacts within cities of developed and developing countries? So Fyodor, that's for you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Very good question indeed. So I think, as I mentioned, of course, we see this huge inequality gap exacerbated by the COVID crisis. So especially cities that have like a big slum proportion or a big proportion of population living in slums will have a big impact from COVID-19 because, well, it's kind of understandable. As I mentioned, most people who live in the slums, they cannot afford the luxury of being self-isolated because they're employed in the manual labor and yeah, they don't have any savings and so on. So this is one problem. Another problem, again, linked to my presentation is maybe, so I mentioned that I see this crisis as an opportunity in terms that maybe like governments will start to implement more of these kind of niche solutions. But of course, in those countries and in those cities with little resource, it will be difficult. But I still don't think that it's impossible. So there are various solutions, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so if this question was raised by Mr. Alexander Hassan. So if you have any further questions, please write again or just ask directly. So there is a question from Professor Baber to Mr. Hang. What are the new services needed by museums in order to reach their public and to survive?
Yes. First, thank you for your question. So as I mentioned in the presentation, so I think currently most museums, they are focusing on digitalizing their collections and trying to hold virtual museums or online exhibitions because they are physically impossible to hold those in the museum. And I think in the future, those kinds of online service might be the new service for those museums because they already find that people are somehow interested in this kind of digital activities. However, during the study of this kind of literatures, I also found the problem that the museums that have such abilities or technologies to launch those kind of digital service, they are usually well-developed countries, museums, or those countries, all those museums located in well-developed area, regions. So for those museums that located in developing countries, they don't have enough, good enough internet infrastructure, which means the access of internet is somehow problem for those people. And I also find data that at least 50% of the world population cannot access to the internet. And in that case, I think the museums want to provide those digital services as a new services is still problematic, especially in developing countries. Even they have ability to do that, their people don't have ability to access to that. And I think that's my answer.
Okay. So can we say that this new digital model for museums is some kind of new normal, at least in developed countries?
Yes, I think it will be
the beginning of some new trend.
Yes.